Hello, everyone. I couldn't resist having a little fun with this assignment, so I'll hope you'll forgive my Mission Impossible theme. Let's start with a basic understanding of standpoint theory. This theory posits that knowledge is shaped by group social and political experiences. Furthermore, because marginalized groups have their own knowledge and also have to obtain the knowledge of the non-marginalized in order to live in that world, marginalized groups have more complex understanding of social issues. Thus, research into issues within their context should start with them. This makes sense if you think about it. For instance, a non-native English speaker living in America has to understand their native culture and language, but also the American culture and language. This gives them a broader knowledge base than someone who only knows one of those cultures. The view of standpoint theory is that social constructs such as gender, class, race, ethnicity, and sexuality, as well as physical capacity, determine what we can know and what we are allowed to know. Think about a woman not allowed access to the golf course deals in corporate culture. Feminist standpoint theory, or FST for our purposes, emerged in the 1970s from the Marxist ideas surrounding work and knowledge. Some of its most influential thinkers have come out of sociology, political philosophy, and science. So what is a standpoint anyway? As I explained in the discussion board this week, I like to think of it like this. Everyone has a perspective, but not everyone operates from a standpoint. Note the passive versus the active verbs. A perspective is just the result of your life experiences thus far. So my perspective is that of a white, middle-class female. A standpoint has to be shared by others and also has to be actionable. It has to be something you can achieve. So unless I find multiple people who share my perspective, and unless we start to unpack how the culture around us has helped form our perspective and what types of knowledge we possess because of this, it will remain just a perspective and not a standpoint. Another great example from Julia Wood is this. Many women share the perspective that assertive women are often labeled bitches. A person operating from a feminist standpoint sees the cultural expectations for women to be nice, understands that men are not held to the same standard, and in fact are often praised for being aggressive rather than punished, and seeks to push against those expectations. Now let's look at FST in terms of research. One of the reasons this theory resonated with me is that it emphasizes the equality between the researcher and the researched. Like action research, FST recognizes that the researcher often operates from a position of privilege and so understands that knowledge must start with the researched. That is where the answers most likely lie. My problem of practice in its current iteration is the following. The purpose of this research is to explore covert aggression between female colleagues in the community college setting and the impact of this aggression on confidence and professional advancement. What would it look like to examine this problem through the lens of feminist standpoint theory? First of all, FST would recognize that there are several social constructs operating here, just as we talked about earlier. We have women at work, and we have the community college setting, to name two. There is certainly knowledge here that male university researchers may not have thought to tap into. FST suggests that women in general have three options. Option 1, emphasize different characteristics in different settings. I'm a goofy, loving mom at home, but a stern administrator at work. Option 2, imitate the traits and practices of the dominant group and suppress one's feminine self entirely. I become completely career-driven and strive to become one of the good old boys. Option 3, remain within and own one's own feminist standpoint and seek to critically and objectively create change. Knowing these options as I go into my research, I can have a better understanding of the variety of ways that women react to the community college work environment and thus to each other. I found that people are quick to proclaim that women are difficult, catty, or as said earlier, bitchy, but when we unpack the androcentric norms that surround women in the workplace, a new story emerges. Thank you.